Good morning and welcome to the stream. Let me double check that yes, mic is working. Fabulous. Today we're going to be continuing working on a project we've been working on for a little bit. And basically, we're going to build more or less this. That's the plan. Except instead of, the MPG data set that those of you who've, used R are probably already familiar with, what we're going to be doing is using a data set of full moon names. Let me scooch, there we go. So some moons have names in, lunar calendars, and we have in the United States, a couple of lunar calendars that folks use, some of which come from contact with Indigenous Americans, some of which come from European traditional lunar name months. Also, I've been talking about them being the names of the full moons. Apparently, they're the names of lunations rather than the full moon. I've just been reading about this, which is the average period of the moon's orbit, about 29 days, roughly. I'm not going to read all those times. And the reason that I care about this is because I'm getting into gardening, and where I am in Virginia, a lot of older folks in particular will reference the moon to guide planting dates, but they will use the names of the moon and not the, month, solar month date. So we have a data set that we've already collected and, made look good, I guess. But you can see here some of the names of the moon. So difficulty, black smoke, raccoon, bare spots on the ground, wind, little grass, sore eye, etc. Hey, Ravi. And if I just said to you, oh, you got to plant your peas by the sore eye moon, I imagine most of you would probably not know when that is, and generally that full moon, or I guess that lunation, lines up with the Gregorian month of March, which not the most helpful for for folks who are trying to plant things in the ground at a specific date if you don't know when that date refers to. So what we're going to do is we are going to build one of these. We're gonna build, nope, there we go. We're gonna build one of these with the moon data. And the nice thing about that is I'd be able to search sore eye, right? And you can see there's no matching records here, but if someone just says to you the sore eye moon, you can be like, oh, that's in March. So the MVP that I'm hoping to get today is just a nice little shiny app that contains this data that we can look at. And perhaps in the future, so we've been doing this this to-do list, which I've updated quite a bit. I removed a bunch of sections that I think we're not going to need. But our to-dos today are to create a data table dashboard like the one I just showed you, maybe figure out a way to host it so that we can, interact with it. And regardless of whether or not the hosting goes up, the GitHub link is already up, and I'll push at the end of stream today. I try to push at the end of every stream. And then if we're feeling really fancy, we can then add the date, right? So if we were thinking about the table, we're gonna have the moon name, the Gregorian month that it usually falls in. Sometimes it can fall in more than once. So one of the, excuse me, one sec. I'm gonna mute myself before I. All right, sorry, that was audio poison that I just saved you from. I hope you are happy not to have heard that. Yes, so actually, if I pour my water into a cup, you don't have to hear me squeak-a the whole time. Lovely, like a beautiful fountain. That's what we're doing today. Now, the R package that we're going to be using is called Shiny. I have not touched Shiny in literally years. The last time I used Shiny was for like a little workshop thing that I think it was, so I used to, some of you may know this, I used to help run the Our Ladies meetup out in Seattle, along with Pam Moriarty and a couple other folks. And I don't do that anymore. Obviously, I'm not in Seattle, but also I stopped before then just because I had too much on my plate. But we had like a workshop that one of the Our Ladies did about using Shiny. So that was the last time I used Shiny. With that in mind, let's get to it. So my idea is that we're probably just going to copy and paste the code from this little sample app, you know, and then modify it for our needs in the best, you know, all the best, what's it called? Traditions of software engineering. So it looks like there's two files here. So we've got this server.r and this UI.r, and I vaguely remember this. Okay, and we've got in this server, we have a function that has an input and an output, and the input is question mark. Where's input defined? Okay, no idea where the input is coming from. The output is coming from the data table package, and the data is miles per gallon from ggplot2, which is one of the built-in data sets. And we have, so I think these are what's defining these top sections here that let you filter, right? So you can filter by manufacturer, you can filter by transmission, and you can filter by cylinders. So for us, we'll probably just use these exact same things and filter them by, you know, moon name, month, and then also the source, because those are the three fields that we have in our little data set over here, right? We have the name of the month, you know, difficulty, corn planting, green grass, etc. Sorry, the name of the lunation. We have the Gregorian month that it usually falls in, and some of them will fall in more than one month, right? So the hunter's moon in the English moon naming system can occur in October or November, and the moon before Yule can occur in either November or December, depending on where the solar equinox falls. No, solstice, the solar winter solstice falls because the solar winter solstice is Yule, and the moon after Yule, if it falls within the month of December after like the 21st, 22nd, whenever, you know, Yule is on a specific year, will be the first moon after Yule, or it could fall in January, right? So they're not going to fit exactly with our Gregorian calendar months. See, this is why it's challenging. And I want a little app to help out. So these are the three fields we're going to probably use, which is great because we're not going to have to change anything else. In this little sample, we've got the name of the month, we've got the month, and then we've got the name of the lunation, the name of the Gregorian month, and then we have the source, so people can filter that, right? Like maybe you only care about the English lunation names, in which case you can use the UCL. Maybe you only care about the Farmer's Almanac names. Maybe you only care about these names that we source from Wikipedia. And all of the sources for those are here. So the Beard Wikipedia is from the Beard 1918 Guide for Boy Scouts. It's extracted on Wikipedia page for the full moon. Boy Scouts is apparently 2 words. Oh, thank God we've got a spell checker. I know you can get spell check plugins for VS Code, but I generally try to keep the default of whatever. My dog going downstairs, if you're wondering what the jingles and clicks were. But I generally try to keep the default for whatever my IDE is so that other folks looking at it can make theirs look the same. I guess I don't have to do that. Hi, welcome. I'm getting easily distracted today. Okay, so looking here, that's how we're gonna make it look the same as that. So that server.r file, I think, mostly makes sense for me. And then the UI.r is everything else, right? So the server is doing all this bit, And then this down here is the UI, and it's doing everything else. Oh, it's also doing this bit up here. Doop. Nope, it's doing all of them. Okay, so the server, what is this doing? Oh, the input. Gotcha. Okay, so the input is being defined from the UI. Right. Okay, so the input is going to change based on the user's behavior. And in this case, it could be selecting from a little drop down. Oh, interesting. Alexi says, today I learned that some people claim that the stock market correlates with a lunar calendar. Interesting. I mean, there is, you know, people are sensitive to light, right? That's something that, well, most things that are biological are sensitive to light. That's something that we've been learning a lot more about recently. I have a friend, Olivia Walsh, who actually did her graduate work on, you know, light exposure and, you know, physiology and modeling that. She has an app that lets you, you know, modify your light exposure prior to a trip to help reduce jet lag. Yeah. Robbie says, I don't use data table. Yeah, so there's a little bit of, for those of you who are not familiar, data table is an alternative to the BaseR way of interacting with tables or the tidyverse dplyr way of interacting with tables. And it is particularly performant for large data, but if you make mistakes, it can be worse than it can be with the tidyverse package. So the tidyverse package is designed to be very, you know, user-friendly, lots of seatbelts. Data table is more like a, you know, a car from the 60s before we had, you know, all the seatbelt regulations we have today, but it can go fast. Send the link. Oh yeah, so this is the, this is from the Shiny documentation right here. Whoop. I'll post that in for, shoot. Well, okay. And I'll post that in for Twitch as well. I've dribbled on myself, that's okay. Okay, so create a new row for the table. Is this all? Is this everything? Is this all the code that is for here? Because we got the column, we've got the columns, right? So maybe fluid row here is what includes all of this. Right, this looks like maybe, one sec, I have the, here we go. Fluid row. Create a page with fluid layout. Elements to include in the page. So we included, okay, so fluid row is the function here, and this is all the stuff that we're including. And it's these columns. All right. Move that over so I stop clicking into it. Oh, Robbie's talking about JavaScript data table. Interesting. No, I don't see the link. I've got links turned off for spam reasons. Sorry. Alexi says the shiny thing looks quite nice. Yeah, I mean, I've heard great things about it. Lots of people love it. I think I may need to do less work than I thought. Always a lovely discovery. All right, the null default implies a stock build of Bootstrap 3. Okay, functions created with fluid page layout consists of rows, which in turn include columns. Rows exist for the purposes of making sure their elements appear on the same line if the browser has adequate width. Okay, so this is all the UI stuff. All right, so I don't need to mess with it. I don't think too much. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see how we can do. All right, so there's 2 files here, and oh, can I get code? This might be actually a little bit easier. Description. Okay, so this is by Jeff Allen. Thank you, Jeff, for providing the nice example. MIT license. And then we have the server file. Is that all that's in it? Sure enough, that's all that's in it. And then we have the UI file, and that, yep, same, exactly the same as it is. All right, so let's get to copying and pasting. Oh, helpful. Robbie says, so the table I'm seeing is actually a JavaScript data table. Interesting. I thought it was an R data table. Yes. You want to come up and say hi? One sec. You want to hop up? No? You just gonna stare at me? Okay. If you hear any laser sounds, it's my dog. All right, so going back over my code, we're gonna need a UI file and a Shiny file, and I'm wondering if I want to change my file structure a little bit, because you can see that right now everything's just sort of in the same file. And I think for now, let's just do that. So I'm gonna create a new R file, and I'm gonna call it, you can't see it here. It had a specific name, didn't it? Yeah, I know, I hear you, bud. All right, UI.R. And then I'm also gonna create another R script, and I'm gonna call this, was it server? Buddy. Nope. Sorry, I'm clicking back and forth on, yes, so server server.r. And I believe those names are non-negotiable. I'm pretty sure they've gotta, that's what you gotta call them. Okay. I will be honest, once we have this code, I do not know how to render it. I don't know how to do the hosting, so we're probably gonna have to go back to, you know. All right, so this is the server code that I'm just copying and pasting, and then we will make it different. And then we've got the UI code as well. All right. And then we'll go through and modify it. So nope, wrong. There we go. Oh, okay. So we need a package that is not installed. So let's install that. All right. So while that's happening, we don't actually need this because it's just the data set file, and we have our own data set. So I'm not going to use it. And did we just install? Is this the one we just installed? It shouldn't install it twice if we don't need it, so don't need this. But what I can do is save that. All right, okay, so this is referencing a data frame that's been loaded locally. So let's really quickly load our data. So I'm gonna call data read.csv because I haven't loaded in the tidyverse, so I'm gonna go with base R for this. It's called moon synonyms. What if I say pretty please? Moon synonyms, there we go. And did that load in correct? Sure did not. All right. Okay, so I need to specify the SEP is, let's see. Nope. Duplicate row names not allowed. Is it not a TSV? It should be. Let's see. All right, so we don't actually have any row names. Oh, that's right, I think you have to be on the same line. Row names is false. We do not have any row names. So what they're saying is that we've got some rows in our database that have duplicate names, right? So like, because I'm trying to keep my data tidy, so the moon before you will can occur in either November or December. And I don't know which for a specific year without looking it up, which is why we're getting that error. But I think if we say, hey, actually, I don't care, hopefully we won't going to get an error and it'll all work and look beautiful. Invalid row name specification. I thought it was a Boolean, but maybe it's not. Attempt to select less than one elements. All right, time to ask questions on the internet. What was our specific error we were getting? Duplicate row names are not allowed. Did I separate one tab by making a TSV file? Pretty sure yes. I went through and I corrected it off stream a while ago. Yes. I'll just We can see I am now on statology.org. How to fix the error. Null. Okay. I thought it was a Boolean, but I guess it's not. All right. Oh no, that's not right. So looking at this data specification here, you can see that it now has 4 variables, and row.names is actually the moon name, which is not what we want. Fun times with R, part 2, yeah. Yes, indeed. All right, so let's go back to the thing that we were looking at and see if they have additional information. It read in, so that's a benefit. That's better than it was. Column names are off. We can modify the column names and then drop the last column. The data frame is now in the correct format. Does anyone have any comments about how to do it better? They do not. Well, interesting. We receive this error because there are comments at the end of every row in the file except the header row. This might actually be easier to fix than I thought it was. So if we look at the data, oh, right, that's not the data. So if we look at here, do we have, I think we can fix this in a much easier way. Okay, and then we can just drop the last column. Oh, okay, I thought there was an error in the data here, but it looks like there wasn't. Okay, great. So I can drop the last column, or I can delete all of the trailing tabs. And I think deleting the last column is gonna be easier, so let me do that. Can I pipe? Yeah, no, I can't. That's okay. Yeah, remember it says try the native read.table. I don't think it's going to fix our issue with, yeah, no, for sure it does not. It's going to fix our issue with trailing tabs. All right, because you can see all of these. You can't see nothing. All of our columns have a trailing tab, right? So I think just deleting those last column is going to be easier. And I don't think read.table and read.csv are going to make a difference. Maybe? Do I have to specify tabs if I am using read.table? Why? Why can't I edit? Okay. Helpful. Okay, it's just this file. Fixed. Very weird. Weird that that happened. Can I get rid of all this? Does that work? Or does it at least not work any worse? Yes, it doesn't work any worse. All right, so with that, we then need to drop the last column. Oh God, how do I do that in base R? It's been a minute since I used base R for anything. What did you say? This is from the thing that we were just looking at. So reassign to data frame, the data frame selecting 1 through, in R, we start our indexing with 1, not 0, so that is the first column, through the number of columns in the data frame minus 1. Okay, so that should work. Doop. And then if we look at data, we've got 3 rows. Fabulous. I've not loaded tidyverse, and I haven't loaded tidyverse because I don't think I need it. I mean, famous last words. And you should avoid unnecessary dependencies. Okay, so So here we should update this, right? So, and I believe it's lunation. Yeah, all right. And then it's gonna be data. And then I want the column beans and toast. It's, oh, look at the data. It's fine. It's not fine. They've read it in with the column names as the first row. You know what? I don't care about unnecessary dependencies anymore. It's a small project just for me. Okay, so there's a ghost. README, server, data. Ghost. Where's this ghost? One sec, you're gonna lose some of the image for a second. I'm just gonna see if resizing it does anything. It does not, no. What? I'm gonna try relaunching our studio and see if that does anything. Yes, save things, okay. All right, I fixed my ghost problem. Oh, there we go. Fabulous, it even fixed itself. Great. Yes. I tried to do it with face art. I tried to be parsimonious. I am too frustrated. Oh, right. Yes, you wouldn't, because I haven't read the library that it's in. Is there a built-in read TSV? I'm pretty sure there is. Vector specify column type. Got some issues for variables. .4. Okay, and then I'm going to because now I have pipes. I'm gonna select just the columns that I care about, which are name, month, and sources. And now we should have 3 variables. Fabulous, and it works, and it all is much easier to handle. Okay, great. So now we can do data. Fabulous. So that's going to be for that. For the month, we're going to say Gregorian calendar month. Maybe that's too unhelpful, but oh well. And then we're gonna get in the data, we're gonna get the month column. I hope I'm doing this right. We'll find out. Sources, and then I'm going to call this source for name. And then this is gonna have to be data sources. And then at some point I'm gonna have to add like a little bit of information to make it look good about where specifically I got the data from. For data tooling, too lazy to use Baser. All right, and then we can update the server, and then I need to figure out how to serve it so that it looks good. Robbie says read underscore delim as well. Good to have multiple methods to use. All right, here we go. Input output. I don't think we need to mess with this. I believe that this is what gets us the nice like sortable columns, a little like, you know, well, the thing that we are doing this for, so that we don't have to build a custom NLP library to make everybody's lives easier, to wit, specifically, this little search box, so I can be like, tell me about the strawberry moon, strawberry, and it'll just tell me, and I don't have to worry about it. So I believe that that's what all that's doing. Right? So I think this like render data table and data table is what's getting me that. So here for data, we actually probably need to do the same doodle loop all over again, because it looks like it's not referencing something that's come from somewhere else in the server. It looks like it has to be loaded in separately to each component. And because I'm doing that, I'm also going to need to load in the tidyverse because I'm using some functions that are required. All right, so far so good. And then filtering the data, right? So if input, so here I'm gonna need these names, right? Let me double check what this looks like. So here we had, looking at the here, data, input man, input cycle, input trans. Okay, so these, did I update those? Sure didn't. No, we're looking at the same thing. Okay, so here, I'm looking to see if the names are referring to each other. UI. Man, trans, sil. Okay, so this is the text that is showing up. I'm just gonna continue to use the column names because I think that's gonna input, okay, so this is interacting with this bit up here. And I think what I do want to do, right, because man, sil, and trans. Man, trans, sil, oh, they're in a different order. That's okay, it doesn't matter. Evidently. I think I'm just going to keep using the names that we were using for the columns in the code, just to keep it the same across, because I'm not entirely sure. I think this we are specifying, right? So this could be any name, but this is referencing that name, right? Because this is where we're getting the input from. Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to keep using the names of my columns throughout to keep it samey. And also I can look at the reference over here. All right, so input. And I already have data read in, so I should be able to do, yeah. And then month, okay. And then sources, and sources, and sources, okay. Data, name, all, doesn't it? Okay, so this is what's going to help us do the filtering. And it'll only proc if the input is not, hey, show us everything, which it is by default. Yeah, okay, so it is by default, and that we're specifying there, it looks like. Right. So if it's not, hey, show us everything, then it will filter on the things that match the thing that we put in, and it is an exact match. So what we could do to do change exact match here to fuzzy match. Right, so one of the things that we talked about is like, hey, it would be kind of cool to handle typos and near matches. partials should already handled. So one thing that we did last week is we did look at whether or not the data would return rows where there was a partial match, right? So looking at this, going back here, right? So we have this like auto, right? So here we have auto L5, auto AV. So you can see we are correctly returning partial matches. But if I misspelled that, right, ATUO, we shouldn't get any matches. So one thing that we could do to make it a little bit more user-friendly is to, you know, handle, you know, maybe using, you know, Levantine distance or edit distance or, you know, something like that to try and figure out how to make it work. All right, I think we should have done it. How do I make it go? Can I just hit run app here? Hot damn, it worked. Wow. Can I was wow. Okay. Let me change the view real quick, I guess. See if I can show you what it looks like. What is this called? This is called, still in our studio. So right now I'm selecting a specific window to show you. I'm trying to figure out how I can show you the new window that we've made because I didn't expect it to work. Yeah, I guess I'll do a new window capture. I'm doing some behind the scenes work behind the scenes. Cool. Let's add a new source, I guess. Shiny output. Nope, not that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. All right, and I'll resize it and bring it backwards a little bit. Well, this is going to be arduous. Ta-da! Ta-da! It worked. Okay, so I should be able to do like corn and get all the corn moons. It worked. Cool. Easy peasy. So, and I can say like, hey, show me everything that happens in February. Well, that could be the raccoon moon, or the bare spots on the ground, or snow, or bald eagle, or bear, or black bear, or month of the bony, or eagle, or groundhog, or hungry, or raccoon, or wolf, or Lenten. These two obviously are English. Don't got raccoons in England. Well, no, that's not true. I mean, people have taken raccoons to England, but they are not from there, to my knowledge. Ooh, open in browser. Yes, please. What browser is this going to open in? Let's find out. The wrong one. But the good news is that now I can take it in here and and if I do this, it worked. No, like so. That worked. Fabulous. Which means that I can go back here and have this be invisible. And now we can look at the code in the thing. Well, Small Cupcake says, what is this about? Great question. So, this is me solving a problem for myself, which is that I am interested in gardening, and where I am in the United States, sometimes people will give you garden advice like, make sure you plant your strawberries by the frog moon. When is the frog moon, you ask? Great question. It may be either in April or May, a question which I, in the past, have struggled to answer because people don't give me dates, they give me moons. Yeah. And these are all very, very US-y names, except for these ones from UCL, which are the English names. And as you can see, they have, I mean, the English set of moon names are tied to, it's a solar luni count. There's a specific name for it. One sec. Lunisolar. It's a lunisolar calendar, which is a calendar that combines both lunar and solar calendars. So apparently, I don't know how common it is to use those moon names for gardening in England, but in the US, particularly where I am, in sort of like, you know, Central Virginia, in the, for me at least, in the cultural watershed of Appalachia, people talk about it, and now I can look it up and know when it is. Yeah. All right, that's it. That's stream. Thanks for joining. I mean, that's all I wanted to do today. Oh, we can check it off on our to-do list. Let's do that. Easy peasy. I like that. Oh, okay, and we can reload app right here in the UI as well. Very nice, very nice. Hey, our studio team, nice work. This was very easy for me, someone who has never cared enough about UIs to, never cared enough about visual UIs to learn a whole lot about them. I care a whole lot about natural language interfaces, which is why I do what I do, but great. Fabulous. We did it. It did not take that long. I probably could have done that in 10 minutes if I hadn't been talking the whole time. Nice. Isn't it great? This is why I love R. Sometimes things are just easy. They're just easy. And that's what I want. Small Cupcake says, Shiny gives me PTSD. I mean, the last time I used it, I remembered it not being this easy, so I'm pretty pleased. Any tips about how to get an ML-based PhD? I mean, my general recommendation for everybody is not to get a PhD for a number of reasons. But if you are really interested in it and you are aware of sort of the both very real financial, physical, mental, emotional costs, my recommendation would be to find someone whose research that you are interested in, who is currently taking students, and reach out to them directly and be like, hey, I am a person with these qualifications. I am interested in being in your lab because of these things that you are currently working on. That's my recommendation. And also, the smaller the lab and the less hypey, I guess, the school, the more likelihood you will have to actually get a response, right? Like, it might work to reach out to somebody from Stanford, but I wouldn't bet on it, right? I also personally would not choose to do graduate work at Stanford. I don't think I even applied there. Cool. All right. What was I doing? Oh, checking it off on our to-do list. Yeah, and I don't think I actually want to host it. I think just for me and my purposes, this is perfectly fine to just pop it open in a browser. You can't see the URLs, but it is at 127.0.0.0. 127.0.0.1 and then port 3954. So it's just on my local network. You wouldn't be able to do it, but you know, if you opened it in RStudio and hit the little run load app button that has now become reload app, it would work perfectly fine. There is something I do want to do though, and I think we're gonna have time for it. I would really like to be able to see more of the entries. In particular, I think like around 30 would work, because if we go back to this one, right, you can see here that it's one of 24 entries. And if I look at all the ones for June, there's only 2. If I look at all the ones for, oh, right. If I look at all the ones for, you know, January, there's 15, but we only see 5 of them. July, there's 14, but we only see 10 of them. Sorry, we always only see 10. December, we do. November, we happen to see them all. July, we only see the first 10. So I think maybe the first 30 would get us the vast majority of the months correctly. and be able to see everything without scrolling and using this little previous next buttons here. So let's see if we can figure out how to do that real quick. So far, we've just been using other people's code and modifying it, and it's been easy peasy. But let's see. So shiny data table, show more rows. Because I think this is a built-in, right? We didn't specify number of rows anywhere here in server or anywhere here in UI. We specified columns. Oh, and the other thing we did want to do was we wanted to change the name, because I think it still does say basic data table. Yeah, so we can do that first, actually. That should be easy. Right, was it in UI? Where was it? Where do we specify that? Here we go. Lunation. Name lookup. Lookup. Moon or lunation names. There. Yeah. Oh, I didn't actually say this. I closed it. Come back. There we go. Yes. Ooh, and I also want to put in like a text panel. Let's see. So if I go here, it says create a page with fluid layout. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the data table. Data table output, table out, JavaScript data tables library. Oh, great. How does it look on mobile? No idea. I'm not going to use my phone and then show you the screen on stream. Apologies. Small Cupcake says, my fear is that I'm not qualified due to me studying a mixed IT econ major. Hey, old flyer, good to see you. I mean, yes, graduate admissions are extremely competitive in a way that I think is not good for students or the field, and I don't individually have the ability to change that. I guess my question for you, right, is are you interested in using machine learning to do something specific, in which case you can study something specific in a different department, right, like economics, if that's what you're interested in? Or are you interested in studying machine learning as the object of study, right? Like, do you want to develop new optimization functions, or do you want to develop more useful operationalizations of specific concepts in order to make them a tractable machine learning problem, right? In other words, do you want to solve actual problems or computer problems? It's a little bit rude, but as a person, I am not motivated by or particularly interested in machine learning research, doing machine learning research as an object of inquiry. But yeah, do I really need to load the data set twice? I have no idea. Because y'all may have noticed that I loaded the data set in here, and also in the UI file, and also in the server file. I am modifying something that uses a built-in data set, and I don't know whether or not I do, but I figure be on the safe side, right? Right? Probably better to be on the safe side. Because they use, in the example that we are looking at, right, they load in ggplot2 for this particular data set in both of their files, which leads me to think that I have to do it in both of my files. And I could be wrong. I don't know Shiny that well. Yes, do I want to see more entries? That is what I was doing, and then I got distracted. Back to what I was doing. Okay, so render data table options. Environment quoted output args. Data table output render data. Okay. All right, so I think here we can do options. We probably do have to put it as a list. So this is going to go in the server file. because it looks like here they have both the files in a single file, and here we have it split out. So this is going to be in the server file, output table, render data table. Okay, so we should be able to put it here. One sec, I'm going back to the render table, and then the data, and then the options. So render data table, and then the data, is all the data, and then the options. Well, actually, your indentations are wrong. Yeah. Okay, and then I think we said 15, right? So let's save and reload the app. I've made an error. I've made a particularly hard to look at error. All right. All right. Oh, no. Okay, I see. It's just got an open connection. It's running. Error in options. Missing comma. Okay. Robbie says, just click on show option. Ah, I see. I didn't even notice that. So it's defaulted to 10, but we can make it 25 by clicking a button, and it's very easy. Small says, I kind of like graph theory, but on the more applied side. Thank you for your time. Yeah, no worries. I mean, if you're interested in studying graph theory, you could also maybe, statistics departments, epidemiology departments. They do a lot of sort of causal modeling that, they use graph theory. I don't know that that's necessarily going to be exactly what you want to do. And also, I mean, the only reason to do a PhD is if you want to try to become a professor, period. And I mean, that's why I got a PhD, and I tried to become a professor and it didn't work out. And that's going to be the case for 95% plus of all people who do a PhD to become a professor. And if that's not what you really want to do with your life, or at least want to have a shot at really doing with your life, then it's not worth it. It's questionable whether it was worth it to me. Okay, well, helpful. I got the same error. Possible missing comma. Shiny run app. Error sourcing. Run app. Okay, let's just try stopping it and running it again and see if that works. Open in browser. Yes. Okay, it's the same. What are y'all looking at? I don't know what you're looking at. Okay, so I reran it, and if I reload it, no, it still shows 10. Render data table ignores which yields a data table object. Okay. Okay. So here we've created a data table object, so we can't further interact with it, but that's okay. We don't have to, because as was pointed out to us, we can actually already do the thing that we were trying to do. So no problem. Smallest company said, I was always under the impression that you needed to do a PhD to work in a research department at a company. Not necessarily. Yeah. I mean, they may ask for it, right? Like, they may like it, but yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it also kind of depends on the company. If the company's more competitive, they may want you to have a PhD, but you can definitely, like, I knew people working in research at various tech companies who did not have PhDs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say apply to the physicians and see if you get them. Alexi says PhD may help to get through the first resume screenings. I mean, yeah, that's true, but also it is, 5 to 10 years of work, which you can also get through resume screenings by working in the industry for 5 to 10 years and be much better compensated and have a much better work-life balance. Alexi says, I want to do research, but I don't want to do a PhD. We'll try to make it work. Yeah. If you want to be in faculty at a research university, research faculty at a university, you need a PhD. It is an absolutely inflexible requirement, unless you're like, the type of person who would get an honorary PhD, right? Like if you're a celebrity, meh. But for regular folks, yeah. It is less of an inflexible requirement than you may think, but you would need to have, evidence of having done research work, which is frustrating because you also, at this point, kind of need to have evidence of having done research work to get into a PhD program at all. So, shrug. I wanted to add a little bit of text. How do I add a little bit of text? Adding text to a Shiny dashboard. Add text on the right of a Shiny dashboard header. I don't want your cookies. I can't say no to your cookies. They must be using a JavaScript I've blocked. Need to show the only row was data table example. Actually, what would probably be easiest is if we just go to here and find a example code that has what we want, which is to say some text on it. So let's see, looking at their examples here. Okay. How did they get this bit here where they talk down about sources? app.r. All right. So I'll just gonna scoop with you. Somebody asked if I make sounds like that if I'm working in an office. I don't. Those are things I do for stream. Okay, and then that was in, I need to go back. Where did I get that from? What was that in? That was in the server. Okay. Server. So going back here. Outside of the output. Okay, so the output stands on its own here. Yes, that's the top one. And then here, oh, gotcha. Okay, so these are all adding qualities. Oh, damn. There's a specific word. I know the word. It's not coming out of the oatmeal right now, but these are all adding to this output object. So here we're adding a table, here we're adding a description. Fabulous. Okay. Is that correct? Go back to here. What are we looking at? Filter, trend description, pull text, paste trend text. Oh, okay. So this all is just getting the text out of here. Giving more information. Is it? No, it's not. Okay, so this is generating. Okay, so I don't need any of that stuff. I can just say render the text. So what I was figuring out there is that this all here is automatically generating the text based on the data. I don't think we need to be that fancy. I think that I can just give it the text to render, and then there will it be. And I actually already have the text here. Don't need that. So we also have another data set that we didn't incorporate into the data yet, but we could later if we wanted to, because we have a flexible thing. Okay, so if we do this, 2, 3, Nope. That's a Python thing. That's not going to work here. Here are the sources for the moon names and lunation names and months are as follows. Okay, and here, and here, all right, where's my error? Okay. Okay. Yes. Unexpected end of document. Okay. Yes. Correct. Good. Yes. Unexpected closing bracket. Where were your closing brackets, my friend? Open bracket before render text. Okay. Open bracket. Yes. Just the one. Okay. What are you? Oh, that's me. I accidentally put that there. All right. Let's reload this app. See if it works. No. See. Yes. Okay, so it did update this bit here at the top. It did not add my text that I wanted. Okay. Alexi says, my plan is to sneak in using an engineering position to do research. Yeah, research software. Oh, there's a specific job title that says you're a software engineer that supports research. The title itself is cool. Choosing doctor instead of an option, instead of a Mr. or other. Yep. I mean, yes. It is up to you whether or not that is worthwhile spending, 10% of your life on. Yeah. Small Cupcake says, I tried planting some beach plants, but they never germinated, and mold took over. Oh no. Yeah. Gardening is hard, as it turns out, which is why I would love to have helpful advice from old timers. And I'm making the advice helpful. Hopefully. Okay, where's my text? All right, back to our little example here. Okay, so here's where they talked about what's going to be going on in there. Is it also in the UI? Sure is. Okay, so main panel here. What's in our UI? We have the title panel. We got the fluid column. Great. Okay, so we can also add something that, how all did they do this? Text output, output ID, desk. Desk comes from here. So, copy, yes, yes, okay. So I should be able to do like so. Is this called desk? It's called desk. All right. Will it work now? Yes, please save first. Hey! Oh, it's awful. It's bad. It's bad for eyes. There we go. Sorry, I thought you were looking at it. So it looks bad. Wow. Awful. Awful. Okay, but we can fix it, right? We can add in some new lines and stuff, but yes, well, I mean, it's good. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's fix the text and then call it a day, because that's what we wanted to do, right? Oh, do I have insert on? Sure do. No, I did not. Interesting. Is that the right direction. Yeah, okay. Cancel, I don't actually need that right now. Which direction do the slashes go? Alexia says, I was growing mint on my balcony, fun times. Yeah, I love a good fresh mint. I'm kind of considering a little garden gossip for y'all. I'm kind of considering putting lemon balm, which is a mint, just in the ground. Wild. Generally, people recommend you don't put mint in the ground. You put it in a pot because it spreads very, very aggressively. But the reason I was going to do lemon balm specifically is I like lemon balm. Tastes good, smells good. But it also helps with mosquitoes. They don't love to be near it. So I was thinking of planting it like near one of the places where I spend a lot of time when I'm outside to maybe help with the mosquitoes for a little bit. But we'll see. I'll keep you updated if I do that. When should I plant it? I don't know. I don't know if there's like specific moon planting for lemon balm. Yeah, well, we'll find out if this is the right direction. I don't know off the top of my head or not. I'll just reload it and see. Nope, it wasn't. Well, no, it's not showing up, so maybe it was. By what I mean by it's not showing up is I can't see any slashes and ends. It'll grow everywhere. Yeah, mint's great. Mint's great. If you love the taste of mint, you should absolutely grow fresh mint. It's very easy. What I can do is just take this out, right? Like where it's not going to render the markdown type of things. So do that. I'm going to put these just in parentheses because I think that visually that looks a little bit nicer. Oh, do I need to escape it again? Pretty sure that's the right direction. Do I mean mint tea? Yeah, you can definitely make tea from it. You can cook with it. You can use it as like a spice. Okay, so now the slash ends are showing up. Just to cut you off a slice. Reload real quick so you can see. Okay, so these little slash ends are showing up. So that's the wrong direction. So it should be the other direction. Rachel, why can you never remember which way the slashes go? Then, you know. One of those things that I struggle with in my brain. It's because I'm dyslexic. Well, now that one didn't work either. Oh, let me refresh so you can see. They're still showing up. Wait, is this the same that I'm seeing over there? Yes, it is. Okay. Well, You know what? You know what? I've got an experiment that should work. There it is. What I can do is I can do a slash n that way, and then I can also do a slash n this way, and whichever one doesn't show up is going to be the one that is creating the new line. So save first, then reload the app. Okay, so it's... Let me show you what it looks like. This is very hard to do production for live, by the way. Very challenging. Okay, so here we've got... This one showed up and the other one didn't. So it's gotta be... Right? Let me double check that that's true. Full moon. Yes, so it's gotta be this one that shows through the new line. However, it's not new lining. So I don't know what to do about that. I think it's just not going to work. I think it is choosing to put everything on a single line and removing my, my excess white space. I wish it wouldn't. I was using that white space for reasons, and the reasons were to make my human eyeballs have an easier time understanding what they were reading. So it might be in here. Time to search. Let me move this out of the way to make sure no one's giving me a great example. I did the right way. Okay. Well, the good news is it's not me. The bad news is that means that it's the shiny. So let's go back here. Because they've got a line here, right? They've got this source down here, this source link, and then they have all of this on a different line. Are there any patterns in the spelling I make as a native speaker of English? I also notice I do quite specific mistakes when writing some words. For example, confusing C and S. I would say 80% plus of my spelling errors that are errors that I would say it's a typo if I notice it visually and can fix it. The errors that I just don't notice and to looking at it, it looks like it is correct to me. I would say 90% of them are vowels, because English vowels are very opaque. So it could logically be pretty much any vowel character that you use to represent a schwa, but only one of them's right according to the rules. Yeah, so the typos I make are, about ordering. Usually I'll just, transpose characters. But generally the genuine mistakes I make where I cannot tell that I did it wrong tend to be vowel based. All right. So how do I shiny render text with line breaks? Outputting multiple lines of text with render text. Oh my gosh. Okay. You can use render UI and HTML output instead of render text and text output. Oh. Note that you need to use /br as a line break. Okay, interesting. So we can just change it so that it is now in HTML instead of in text. Okay, so instead of being, whoopsies, that's got to be in there, right? Let's look at this example. Yes. Can I just have it in the text? Okay, so output text, render UI instead of render text, right? And this is in the server. Okay, but it shouldn't change the name. And then in the UI, it is up here, text output, HTML output instead of text output. Let's see if this works. Because I don't need this text to be reactive, right? It is just a list of sources. It's not going to change. I'm just giving people the information that they need, hopefully. Well, good news, bad news. Good news. It updated. Bad news. I think I do need to do the pasting thing that they were doing, which I hate. I don't want to do that. Okay, well, noted. I guess I could also just make my peace with having it on 3 lines, but I want it separated, right? Because that's much better to look at with your eyes. And also, at some point in the future, I may need to look at this with my eyes, and that is really, really hard to read. For me, at least. It may be quite easy for y'all, but I'm finding it tricky. So, all right, let's see. Look at the Stack Overflow answer again. HTML output. I shouldn't need to, though, right? Render UI. Paste. Okay, I think I know what we're doing. I think we have to wrap this in the HTML function. And I think that will fix it. I hope that'll fix it. We'll find out. Okay. So if we do this, yes, then reload the app. Hey, it did it. Hey, there you go. Oh, one sec. Let me reload. Ta-da! Cool. Which also means that I can add another break after it, so we don't have this little squishy bit there with the moonlination stuff at the top. Yay! I'm just gonna add an extra one there at the end. Actually, let me also add this last source, just in case folks are interested, because I think it is a very good resource. So it's this one that we talked about. This one, the multilingual lunar month names. Save that. Yes, thank you. By Kevin Finity. But perhaps useful for reference. Not included in table. Perhaps useful for reference, blah, 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 by Tim T. I'm going to move this to the front. Because it was particularly good, it was well researched, etc., etc. You'll love to see it. That looks good. And at this point, I think once I push it, anyone else who would be interested in making additional changes would be able to. So let's reload here and see how that looks. Fabulous. Yeah, so if anyone wants to check out any of these, let me double check that this is, still available. Yeah, it is. Really great reference. As you can see, lots of languages included here that we didn't talk about. Sumerian. No one has ever given me instructions in Sumerian lunation names, but perhaps at some point somebody will to somebody else. All right, I think we done it. I think we're good. The app works. It looks how I wanted it to look. We only took an extra time because I was, messing around and trying different stuff. But yeah, I'm very happy. Let's take a little extra peek. So let's say, oh, I want to know about frog moons. That works. Fabulous. It could be in April, it could be in May. Or I want to know about, well, I guess I could also just do this, source for name. Or I want to know all the names for the May moons. Oh, it could be any of these. I want to see them all. I'll make sure I see them all. Easy peasy. Oh, I removed moon. This is a data collection error. It should be moon of shedding ponies. I removed it when I was programmatically cleaning the data. Yeah, great, fabulous. I'm happy. I think that is what I wanted to do. Works. Will I host it somewhere? I don't know, maybe. I happened to notice that there was, so you can't see it, but in the little, you can see it, one sec. Hold, please. No. Never mind, you can't see it. But in the little thing that popped up, there's a little publish option that lets you publish the application, I'm sure through the built-in integrated RStudio hosting option. So if I want to do that, I might do that. Robbie says, why don't you use the list tag directly inside HTML? Because I like making my life hard, Robbie. No, I don't have a good reason. I just didn't. All right. So let's end looking at the app. Isn't that nice? Yeah, that's all I've got for you today. And there will be no live streaming on Thursday. It's a holiday in the US. I'm going to be taking a holiday, but I will have a video up either today or tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow or Thursday. Maybe today, probably Wednesday, Thursday. I have an interview with Chelsea Troy, which was fabulous. We had a great discussion. I think y'all will really enjoy it. As usual, if I have something pre-recorded, I do hand captioning myself. Obviously, I can't do that live while I'm also talking, unfortunately, but it will be up with captions later this week, which hopefully you all really enjoy it. I thought it was a great discussion. And before we leave, I do want to say, Alex says, the shiny thing looks not so bad. Thanks. Yeah, it was not bad at all. Props to the shiny devs. Before we head out, big thank you to all my wonderful monthly supporters who help make this possible, especially my newest supporter, Lisa Harper. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Of course, I appreciate everyone watching, but I do appreciate my supporters a little bit more, a teeny bit more. So thank you very much for helping make this possible. I will be back next Tuesday for something. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We may do the next thing that I think would be kind of cool and interesting to do would be to make another column that is the date this year, or like the next time this month is this particular lunation is gonna happen, which could be cool, but we'll see if I want to keep working on this project or not. But thank you everybody for joining. Extra special thank you to my supporters, and I will see you all next week, and have a great rest of the week. If you are celebrating any holidays, enjoy your holidays, and I'll talk to you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.